back where it all began, at the Onnit gym.
That's right.
So, dude, you walked up to me yesterday in the middle of our workout, said, I got some shit to say.
True.
And here we are.
Here we are.
So what's on your mind, brother?
I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's appropriate, right? With the season right now,
Thanksgiving coming right up.
I'm thankful. I'm in a place of thankfulness. We got some big things going on here at the facility. The vibe is always good.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. This is the environment I walk into for work. So I can't complain at all.
Yeah, man, I love it.
I've calmed down a little bit since last night, so we might have
Dude,
to.
I can get you fired back up again. Gonna throw you on the assault bike and give you some kettlebells and let this thing roll.
There it is.
Man, but something we talk about is, and you and I talk about this a lot. You got a hell of a story, and coming from that, you and I both resonate on finding value in gratitude for the shit, for the story, for the rough times, for the things that shape who you are. And there's a lot of that I sometimes feel is missing or put away for the sake of quote unquote happiness. Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to embrace the things that may sting for a while for greater gain. Mm-hmm. I think that's something you may see a lot too. It's something we've bounced off of each other a few times.
Definitely.
Sipping on protein shakes.
Yeah, definitely. But that actually goes back to some of the things that I tell people that I train with is that we can correct your technique, but I want you to consciously be thinking of your technique whenever we're doing anything. I love to train in front of a mirror sometimes, not for vain reasons, but a little bit. But because the body will always naturally take the least path to resistance. Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing in life. Naturally, you don't want to embrace that struggle. You don't want to embrace those growing pains. We know they exist.
Yeah.
But if we could, we would just live this cush life that had nothing to do with growing pains.
Yeah.
And just kind of roller coaster our way straight to the top. Without that build up on the roller coaster where it's just going slowly to the top. We just wish that's what life was. When in reality, it's the other end of the roller coaster. Yeah. The ups, the downs, the twists, the turns. Yep. Oh shit! I thought we were going left. This motherfucker went right. That type of deal. And I think that honestly is what builds the character of the man or the woman. So then later on, when you look back on the story and you look back at where you were and where you came from and where you're standing and then where you're projected to go, and even that might change, but you kind of appreciate it at that point. Yeah. Almost in a I've been here before kind of deal. So that's what that part is. And in all honesty, that's the fun.
Yeah, man.
That's the fun. The best part about the road to success is not knowing where the fuck it goes.
Yeah.
But just knowing that you're going to have a certain mentality, a certain work ethic, a certain character about yourself. You're going to carry yourself a certain way all the way throughout, knowing that when I finally do reach the destination, if I ever do, I got here this way. I got here a way that I'm proud of.
And what is the destination anyways? Like, what do you ever get there? Are you ever there? I mean, what are you gonna look around and have? Oh, I have this many things. I have this house. I have this money. I have this job. It's always gonna just feel like the next thing when you're there.
100%.
There is no stopping point. Mm-hmm. And life eventually quits flowing through you, and that's some kind of stopping point, maybe. We don't really know, but as far as the life that we live now, there's no place to get to. So you might as well be where the fuck you are.
Yeah.
and you can't be
enjoying it,
and then taking the friction that life hands you and letting it shape who you can be, and walk every step as that person.
I agree.
And know that whatever you think your future should hold, or the expectations you create around your future, whatever those are, they're not going to be that way when you get there.
Yeah.
There, but they're going to be probably better. Because you're shaping an experience in yourself that allows for growth and allows for change. And with openness to the future, you are liberated. You're liberated to be the best version of yourself all the time because you release the expectations that weigh you down.
And then a key component to that is, listen, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Have the most fun you absolutely can. Live a life that's full of joy.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Because one, if you want to look at it from one lens, there are a lot of people walking around wishing they were in your shoes. So you had that lens. Again, Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for? I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm thankful to be in the shoes I'm in. I'm thankful that this is my journey, and everybody should embrace it like that. But then, two, have fun with it, because you may or may not get to do this again.
Yeah.
Who knows? This could be it. This could be it.
Yeah.
So if this is it, shit, I'm going to get everything I can out of it. Every laugh, every smile, every hug, every disagreement. We can argue over Kanye West as many times as we like. Like, I'm going to have as much absolute fun that I possibly can with it.
Yeah.
That's key.
Dude, and that's something you and I have done this several times together, but I just love getting people fired up and getting people in the present. It's just say some shit that'll just get them spinning a little bit and make them question their own thoughts and their self, and just play with it, because it's all play at the end of the day. Like, it really is. And man, if you can see it as that, even when it kind of sucks, there's something there.
Agreed. I think we a lot of times we take ourselves too seriously.
A lot of times.
A lot of times we hit this adulting.
Yeah.
And we do it the way that we were told we were supposed to.
Yeah.
And then you look up and you're going through the motions, and you're saying what you were supposed to say, thinking what you were supposed to think, and you're a robot. You're a robot. You're a robot. If I told you, you talk to a gym guy about a corporate guy, he's going to call him a suit, just from how they're structured to think of how those guys act, and vice versa. But I think it's more important to really think about who you are. What are the things that get you going? What are the things that make you tick? Hang on to those things. Yeah. Surround yourself around those environments. Then don't be afraid to venture out and possibly grow. Because it's really hard to grow doing the same shit every day. It's really hard to grow just being around the same people every day.
Yeah.
Some people, well, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. Yeah, whatever. Label yourself what you will.
Yeah.
The point is, if you want to grow, put yourself in growth environments.
That's it. And that's such a common practice that you can take on, and that's something we talk about with Muay Thai. You and I both getting in there and hitting the bag, even though we really don't know much about what the hell we're doing. But it's, man, there's the power in putting yourself in a position where you're the weakest in the room, intellectually, physically, skill when it comes to skill, that just helps you see things through a different lens. You don't have a choice but to view as a beginner that situation. And when you start to understand how to view that situation as a beginner, you start to gain the skills of viewing more situations like as a beginner. And with the beginner's mind, you're ripe for learning. And there's something there, And one thing, just to change the way you look at what you are. Like you said, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, I'm this, I'm that. I like to say I choose to be this, because the choices I make in my life based upon my experience empower me to be that, if I choose that. And with that, you take ownership as opposed to creating your identity around it, because you're a verb, not a noun.
Yeah.
And you will change. And when you acknowledge how much you can change, well, fuck, man, then you can take ownership of the change, and you can move in the directions that you need to move.
I tell that to a lot of our young guys, just a little differently, but I try to get them to understand that let's enjoy right now, but at the same time, let's not make life decisions based off of right now. Don't make a fool's life decision based off of the thought process of your 23-year-old self.
Yeah.
Give them a very simple example. I say, hey, you're 23. You've come into a lot of money very quickly. This could be amazing, or this could be tragic.
Yeah.
So let's break it down quickly and easily. Let's break it down. Do you absolutely love the exact same things you absolutely loved at 17? Oh, no? Some of those things aren't important anymore? Some of those things are just irrelevant, dumb, childish, whatever they may be. You just outgrew them? Well, imagine how your 30-year-old self is going to look at this 23-year-old you. It's the same process. It's just a growth process. It's a cycle. Different things interest you now. I went to an art gallery last Friday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who the hell would have thought 5 years ago that I would be interested in art? But I absolutely love it. Don't know shit about it, still learning, but I absolutely love it. Put my bid in on a piece and I lost. but it's a part of the process. Yeah. But my thing is, like, man, I'm finding out new things about myself every day. I didn't even know I liked it until I started looking at the art, and I was like, I want to go to that. So why not? Let's do it. Let's go. And that's a real small, minute example, but that's the point. Just enjoy now, plan for later. Enjoy now, plan for later.
That's huge. So, you mean something I want to wrap back around to is you work with a lot of young guys and young girls too, a little bit. What are some of the most common patterns you see in this kind of younger generation coming up? And we're both, you're 28, right?
28, yeah. Hey, don't add these years on me yet, man. I just look old, man. It's a hard knock life. I just look old. I got an old face.
I feel like the photos I saw you in college, you look exactly the same. You always look.
You're a kind man. You're a kind. So either I'm not aging, or I just always had an old face.
Exactly.
Like one or the other.
I think it's the second one. But no. So what are some of the most common things that you see that get in these guys' ways? Because what's happening is that you're throwing gasoline on a fire. If there's insecurity there, if there's some kind of misalignment, if there's something going on that's not full, they're not able to fill themselves. And a lot of times when it comes to sport, that's all external. Everything that they need to achieve is external. What are some common themes or some common patterns that you see in those guys that get in their way?
Well, by the time the guys usually get to me, they're the most alpha of alpha males. Mm-hmm. These are the guys that will be the stars of tomorrow. These are the guys that will be the next Odell Beckhams, the next Earl Thomases, the next Jalen Ramsey, whoever it may be. This is the beginning of that legacy. So they come in with every one of them. They come in with this macho attitude, which they've always had to have. They always had to have because everybody's looking at their every move. I can only imagine that. I try to relate to them as well as I can, but I let them know I don't live my life in a fishbowl mentality the way that they have to be prepared to. Can you imagine? Every time you picked your nose, there was a TMZ camera around taking a picture of it.
Nope.
That's the type of life they've kind of chosen to live. That's the field they've chosen to be a part of. That everything they do will be scrutinized. So I try to explain to them that, hey, when you hear, you can kind of think about it like a coat, man. You came in it's cold as hell outside. You've been layered up, and now you can take off the top jacket. You can take the scarf off. You can take the beanie off. You can take the glove. You can be who you are. You can be who you are. So that's the number one thing is first you got to relate to the human before you ever speak to the athlete. Let them know that I'm on your side. I'm pro player always. I'm not pro organization. I'm not pro coach. I'm not pro agent. I'm not pro parent. I'm pro player.
Yeah.
Always. And then from there, we can almost develop or have the conversations that will eventually develop the way that they view this thing, the way that they view what I consider is even bigger than their performance, which is their platform. Because when you have the level of talent that they have with the same fishbowl life that they have, you also are granted a certain level of a platform that others aren't granted.
Yep.
And that's simply because all eyes are on you. Colin Kaepernick chose to do with his platform what he chose to do with it. That is somebody that even if I don't agree or if I totally agree with his message, what I can applaud is somebody being fully aware of where they are in this moment and taking advantage of their platform. And that's what I try to get these guys to understand is that this game that they play is just that. It's a game. Have fun with it. Doesn't last forever like no game does. But understand when you are in this moment, when you have this platform for the amount of time that you have it, what do you really want to get across? What's the message that you want to leave? How do you want to impact others? What are things you wish you knew or things you wish you heard when you were coming up? How can you help out those who are probably in a position similar to you? Those are the things I really want them to kind of lock in on, or at least just dabble in at 21, 22. Just dabble in that thought process. And then we've seen some amazing things happen from it. I mean, look at Deshaun Watson out in Houston. Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, tragedy. This kid just came from Clemson, signed this big multi-million-dollar deal, and the very first thing he did is donate his first game check of his life, the entire thing, to the cafeteria, staff workers, people that work the parking garage. He gave his check away. That's somebody that gets it. But same time, Deshaun Watson is the same person that was a beneficiary of another altruistic act from, I forgot who the player was. I want to say Ward Dunn or somebody back in the day. His mom won a contest for them to build her a house.
Wow.
Yeah. So he understands that cycle because he's benefited from it. He's lived it. So that's why I just try to get these guys to understand, listen, here you don't got to be who you have to be for the camera. So let's talk about the other things. Let's talk about the developmental part of the mentality, the heart, the actual person, the living human being, breathing person. Let's talk about that. And then when we're done with that, all right, now get your ass in here and let's train.
Yeah.
Because you still got a job to do.
Well, that's huge, man. And I think that's something that everybody can take a little bit away from there, is understanding why you do what you do. Like, what is the underlying reason? Because I think in your early 20s, especially, you fall into a lot of money. You're in this place. You got a lot of eyes on you. You have a lot of expectations as to what you're supposed to be. That's not that much different from getting your first job out of college. You know, oh wait, this is my parents said I should be this thing. My boss wants me to do this. My girlfriend wants me to be like this, and you're just trying to spin plates. And when you're on a huge platform like these guys, if you can anchor into your why, understand why you're doing that thing, you know, that's one thing that Colin Kaepernick did. He says, I'm going to stand up for something. Whether you agree with him or not, you know, everybody's like, this guy should just be playing football. He's a football player. He's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak my mind and use this platform for something because I think that I feel like it's important to do.
Yeah.
And you got to respect that, whether you agree with him or
100%. And that's, you know, we're in a day and age now where professional athletes are no longer just a professional athlete.
No.
It's not the case. Like, they are activists. They are councilmen.
Yep.
They're whoever else. You know, they're more than what their job, like everybody else, they're more than what their job title is.
Yep.
What lawyer do you know, I don't know, is out there being a great family law attorney and they have an opinion on something? You stick to family law. Don't say anything else.
Yeah. Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. That's not the case.
That's not the case at all.
Up to this point, I think society has been boxing in athletes and not really wanting to hear them as much as they've been wanting to see them as far as entertainment goes. And as long as when they opened their mouths, they said something that was politically correct, then it was all good.
Yeah.
A lot of times athletes do say things where they put their foot in their mouth.
Yeah,
so
that's definitely not super productive.
that little thing that's been going on has probably benefited a lot of those guys because they haven't been asked to talk. But I'd much rather them have the opportunity to fuck up than not have the opportunity at all.
Yeah, that's huge. When you're then your word you stand for your word at that point. If you're out there saying outlandish shit, you know, getting attention, that's one thing. That's cool. T.O. did it. True. That was fun.
True.
It was fun to watch. You know, as a Cowboys fan, it was fun to watch. But then you got some people that say, hey, you know what? I play ball. I do this job, but I'm living a mission. My mission is fill in the blank.
Agreed.
What is it? And if you know that, then that way when you're later in your career and you move on to whatever, you move on to commentating, you move on to just being a dad, you're playing golf tournaments and, you know, laughing it up. But it's like you're living a mission. Say, hey, I'm on this path to do this thing that's bigger than the game. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than my family. It's using the gifts and the experience and the forms of expression that life gave me to make something happen.
And that's key because one thing I've noticed in my short 28 years, that probably look like 34 years or older, is that the most fulfillment comes when you're a part of something that's much bigger than you.
Oh, yeah.
You can only self-serve for so long. That's it. You can only self-serve for so long. So the challenge is then to find out the things that really pull at your heartstrings. If there was no money involved, if money never existed, what would you do for free? What would you do for life? If you had the reach, the touch, the ability to do whatever, what would you do? Then my challenge is find a way to do those things. Even if it isn't your main job. I'm not telling you to walk in the office today, tell your boss, I fucking hate this place and quit. What I am saying is find a way to operate in that space, even if it's with your off time. Whatever it may be. Your leisure time, whatever you're volunteering in that area, whatever the hell it may be. Mm-hmm. That's how you tick. That's how you tick. So plug yourself up, energy-wise, plug yourself up, feed yourself that. And then I promise you, you're probably operating in your own natural gift at that point, and you'll be surprised at how you excel in whatever that field is.
Yeah. Dude, I love that you say that. I love it. I've never heard you say that before, actually. So that's nice. What I say is similar, something super similar. Is like you got to find what fuels your soul. Like, what is that thing? And most people will say, "Fuck, I don't know." You know, but you have to take the time. It takes a little bit of time. Just go live your life and express yourself in whatever way you normally do, but with a little bit of observation of your mental, emotional, physical state when that happens. Do you get tense? Do you relax? Do you feel full? Do you feel tired? What's filling you and what's draining you? It's like, I call it an energetic audit. Yeah. And you check that out and you say, okay, well, now I kind of know what the things are that fill me up. Well, all right, that's cool. So we have some things that can fill you up. Okay, well, let's investigate those. Let's dive underneath those. I call it tracking down the feelings. Let's track down the feelings and find out the underpinnings behind the feelings. Those are the whys. Those are that's the roots of what fuels you. Now you can act in alignment with that because you've created an understanding of what fills you up. And when you can do that, then your life becomes so much more full and life flows through you in this beautiful way.
Yeah.
And then if you have a job that maybe you don't love, I have a great friend of mine. She has a job where she does like $300K a year. Doesn't like it, but she gets a shit ton of off time and gets to travel all over the place, and it's an easy exchange for her.
Sounds like a good trade-off to me.
Yeah, it's you know, and it's she's doing her thing, she's having a good time, but for her, when you ask her about it, it's like, I don't work because I love the work. I work because I love my life.
Yeah.
And this allows me to do things that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
That's fair.
You know, I could go be a blogger or something and be broke, but it's like, or I can just go to Tulum for 2 weeks and maybe work 5 hours a week and then come back and work for another month and then go do the same thing over again. I'm like, that's beautiful. Fair. But she's investigated and has probably some of the most self-awareness of anybody I know. And there is nothing in this world that you can value over being aware of yourself.
Agreed. I mean, I agree, and that's simply because to me that's the start point.
Yep, step one.
That's step one. That is literally step one. Finding out who you are. Then understanding that who you are today probably won't be who you are in 4 or 5 years. But to the core, if you get it right, that doesn't change.
No.
Interests change. That doesn't change. But when you find out who you are and you're able to then build and grow from that, and like you said, everything else becomes easy. Everything else becomes a beautiful life, and you walk around probably smiling ear to ear like I do. I know John and them are always looking at me like, this guy's always so happy. Yeah, you're right. Just a happy guy. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, you know, but it's one of those things where it's like, it wasn't always like this. So I can almost appreciate this moment a lot more now because I know that it's not like this for everyone. I know that life wasn't what it is today 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it won't be like it is today 10 years from now.
Exactly. You know? Hopefully we keep trending in the same direction.
Well, for the most part, you are on a roller coaster though. We've been over this.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But a lot of those things, a lot of those struggles and the twists and turns are created by our own imagination anyways.
Yeah.
You know, and you can stay calm through those transitions, man. I know even taking on the podcast and making this move I had a lot of wrangling to do with my own mind and my mental chatter and my belief systems and had to create some kind of flow within that. It's huge learning. And I'm still in the middle of it, man. You're episode 31.
Man,
you know,
that's amazing.
Episode 31 of 1,000. You know,
proud of.
Thanks,
definitely
man.
I remember when you were talking about, you know, taking this on and really wanting to do it, and you could just tell the hesitation in you.
Yeah.
So to be 31 episodes in lets me know, okay, there's at least no more hesitation.
Yeah.
But who knows where this thing will go?
I don't know, man. I'm just grateful to be doing it, dude. It's just this fun form of expression. And again, when you start getting the feedback, and I know you get your players love you, dude. The guys that work with you love you.
Yeah.
And we're talking some of the best players in the league. Yeah. And that's incredible, man. Because those guys, you know, a lot of them have coaches and trainers and stuff that they don't acknowledge. But you're in weddings, on vacation, hanging out with their kids.
Yeah.
And that just says something huge about the work that you've done on yourself, dude.
I think ultimately my goal is to be me. My goal is to be me. So if we don't got the same energy and our vibe just doesn't work out, it's understood and we can respectfully work in the same place and then go our separate ways. But when we do click, when the vibe is right, it's much deeper than any football game or any basketball event, any baseball game could ever be. And that's what you see. When you see in a wedding or a vacation, or like you said, now the godfather to some of these children. Hey, I hope nothing happens, man. I'm gonna have a lot of kids tomorrow. but it's a genuine thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing where we spend a lot of time together. And after we break off those layers that we talked about, where we leaving that coat at the door kind of mentality, you spend a lot of intimate time with somebody where you now know exactly what their thought process is, the things that they probably never said to many other people. And then that honestly shapes the way that some of the training takes place. Because I know where your mind's at.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking about yourself. I know your concern that you have over this hip injury that hasn't been disclosed to the public, that you understand may end your career in the next 18 months. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, and that's what we were talking about earlier too. Once you understand where someone's at, you can be there with them.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a bunch of projection and the guard's up, one, there's tension, which is not good for training, and two, you don't even know how, you can't connect with them on that way. And that connection is what drives everything. That connection is what makes teams win. That connection is what makes training successful. It's huge. You have to bring the authenticity and bring the transparency to that, because you're the leader in that situation.
Agreed. And I mean, what better way to do it than once we get the guys in, I volunteer it myself. I tell them straight up, the same thing every time. I say, hey, if you don't understand something, ask me. If I can't explain it to you, fire me. That's very simple. Never in life in any other, hold us to a high standard here, please, because I hold you to one. Because at this point, the standard has been set.
Yeah.
There's a very high expectation level with this program. So I hold you to a certain standard. You should probably do the same with me. You should probably do the same with any of my staff. That's what I want from you.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you would with your doctor. If you walked in your doctor's office today, he gave you a diagnosis, you asked him a question about it, and he said, I don't know, what would you do? You're not going to accept that shit.
Exactly.
So why accept it here?
Yeah.
Why not ask the questions here?
Yeah.
My industry has gotten by too long with bullshit.
Shit, dude. And mine too. I feel that.
So how about we raise the bar and hold ourselves to a certain level of accountability, and then allow for those athletes to be educated, push them towards autonomy, and let them do this shit on their own and get help where they need it, versus trying to hold their hand and collect a paycheck. Dude,
preaching. Exactly.
So what you see is the transparency starts with me making myself honorable. And I do that because I trust my preparation. I trust my preparation. I know the homework. I know the things that I put. And no, I don't have every answer to every question. I do not. I won't claim to. But I'll tell you this. There won't be a time you ask me a question twice and I don't got the answer to it.
Isn't that how you get the answers to the questions in the first place?
Exactly.
Because you're not going to know everything. And once you know you don't know something, then what do you do? Because you don't know what you don't know. But once you know you don't know, then you got a fucking choice.
You're either going to sit on your ass and accept the fact, oh, great question, or you're going to go figure it out.
Exactly.
And I think that's what they know, is that the type of work ethic that I have and how I care about this craft and what I want to pour into them, even just from an education standpoint of just their own body, so that they can understand how their body works.
Yeah.
So that now they find value in some of the things that I'm asking them to do when they're not even here. The things that some of the practices that I'm asking them to do when they're back in Denver, back in Arizona, back in LA, wherever it may be, back in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
When you're there, I still need you to do this.
When you're bringing self-awareness to the body then, which for an athlete, shit, man, that's a big deal.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. A lot of times you want to know why athletes don't want to do certain shit. Because like we said, the body wants the what? Least path to resistance.
Yeah.
So if it don't feel good and they don't understand why they're doing it, they don't find value in it.
Yep.
And for them in their world,
because they're the most gifted human beings on the planet when it comes to physical expression.
Exactly.
So they haven't had, to force a lot of resistance. Because that's one thing people don't understand about athletes, professional athletes. They're not necessarily there because of work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
They're there because they're amazingly talented.
Some of them are just
Some
the biggest overcompensators that you'll ever meet.
Ever.
They go against all principles for whatever it may be that you're asking from, John Doe, Joe Schmo, that, hey, if you want to be successful doing this, you have to do this.
Yep.
And then you look over there at your favorite guy and you're like, he don't do it. And yeah, well, God gave him a little bit more than he gave you. And that's just how that works out. So but my question is, what happens when we grab that super talented guy and then apply the principles? Then what happens?
Magic.
Well, fuck, why not be magical?
Exactly.
So that's how I view things. That's how I see it. And then you reach a certain level of just a general respect for each other, to where now you're able to really push the buttons. And that's when we see the biggest change.
That's huge.
Because now I'm challenging them. Now it's no longer just gains made through programming, but there's gains made through actual, challenge. And I know you'll walk in here in a couple of times, you'll see us all flaring cuss words at each other. Listen, that's all love.
That's team sport love.
That's all love.
Yeah.
I want nobody. I mean, hey, you walk in, you see these guys 6'4", 240, ripped up, looking like WWF wrestlers, and everybody's hurling cuss words at each other. It could probably be like, maybe we should get a handle on this. No, listen, this is how we hug each other.
Yeah.
This is it. So,
the team sports, that was the best, some of the best, like, shit talking, enduring love. It's just fun. It's just being a dude doing the thing. And some people don't get it. They're
I
like,
mean,
what?
if you haven't been a part of it or been around it, or that's not your environment, I could see from the outside looking in how it probably looks like a situation is escalating and somebody should probably get a hold on it. But that's they're playing some of the most aggressive sports that you can probably think of, and they're asked to have this amazing amount of, like, tough guy, testosterone driven decision making. And it's like, we get it. I'm not asking you to change that. I'm not asking you to change that at all. I'm asking you to learn how to channel it, how to use it to your advantage, how to think through those times, still make proper decisions. That's what I'm asking from you. And then I'm asking you to apply that shit to your rage. And if you play defense, it's what I call control chaos.
So defenses, especially the defensive line and linebackers, are just
control chaos.
Different animal.
That's all it is control chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Understand
that's all life is, dude.
Right?
It's just chaos, just shit bouncing off of each other. You're trying to make sense of it. That's it. It's a beautiful mess.
Yeah.
And shit, man. If we're talking about gratitude, and that's what the theme of this show is. I'm just grateful for the fact that I got handed opportunities in my life where I just had to figure it out.
Yeah.
I just had to figure it out. And it's like, did you ever play Zelda when you were a kid?
I did.
When you start off with nothing, kind of a little green dude cruising around trying to save the princess, right? And throughout time, you get a dope ass sword, you get some shoes with wings on them. That's life, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you put them in the bag and you have them there. It's like, oh man, I went and did this thing. It was hard. I fought this, worm monster thing. And now, okay, I got this now. Cool. I'll put that in the bag. Sweet. That comes with me now. That's a part of my life now. And every time you just get yourself in a situation where you're looking around like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Instead of going, I'm going to retreat back, take a step, go, I'm going to figure this shit out. And when you have that mentality, it's like, will it get you in trouble? Yeah. Will you hurt some people? Yeah.
Will you fail forward? Yeah. Hey, first of all, let's stop this whole thing and acknowledge that might be one of the top 5 analogies of all time. Ever. Ever. Like, from this moment, I think we should start saying, what would Zelda do?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Because that's exactly what it is. You hit that on you hit that right on the head. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. But again, that's what's building character.
It is, man.
That's what's building character. That's why it's fun. And that's why it's fun.
You embrace the friction, create shape. It's huge, man. But that's the source of gratitude.
Agreed.
Well, brother, it's been awesome sitting down here hanging out with you in the Onnit Academy yet again. If you heard any background noise, that was just people getting fit as shit in the Onnit. Oh, no, it's Onnit Gym now.
Onnit Gym
ATX.
That's right. Onnit Gym ATX.
Boom.
Onnit Sports Performance coming really, really soon. You can check us out at onnitsports.com.
Onnitsports.com. And then where can people find you on the social medias?
At jhills5 across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and everything else out there. At jhills5. And again, onnitsports.com. Any questions for me, feel free to shoot them. I usually just get like athlete questions, like how do I jump higher, run fast, that kind of deal. But I'm very open to everything.
Well, as you said, you have all the answers.
Ever.
All the answers
All
for
the
any fitness, strength and conditioning, sport.
Ever. Just ask me everything. No, not
Shit,
at all.
Man. Well, I'm proud of you, brother, and
Thanks, boss.
super grateful to have you in my life, man.
For sure. Same here.
Later on, bro.
Yeah.
Well, that's the show, guys. Always love chatting with Jeremey. Always love sharing these conversations. And I want to share one more thing with you guys. If you are empowered by these conversations and want to bring it into your life, there is an opportunity to work with me in my lifestyle design program. If you're interested in seeing more about that and scheduling a free 30-minute consult just to feel it out and see what kind of opportunities we can take in your life, head over to pleasuremonkeylife.com, click on the lifestyle design tab, quick form there to fill out, hit submit. I'll get the email and I'll respond super quick and we'll get something on the books. And again, if you love the show, give us a 5-star review. Always makes me happy. And check out our show sponsors coming up with Christmas. Lots of good gifts on there. Giving the gift of badass apparel and amazing fitness equipment and supplements. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Have a great day. Peace.